Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on something that really shapes our communities, but maybe doesn't get much attention. Local police reports. This is Behind the Blotter with the Peshtigo Times. And yeah, our focus is the daily pulse of life right here in and around Peshtigo. That's Peshtigo. And the thing about these sources, these summaries from the Menominee County Sheriff's Office and the Menominee Police Department, what makes them unique is, well, they give you this raw, unfiltered look at daily life. You get everything from the kind of minor stuff to the really unexpected things. It captures the rhythm of our towns.
Exactly. And they're not just dry facts, are they? They actually paint a picture. You start to see patterns, and it gives you a really candid snapshot of what law enforcement deals with day in, day out. Menominee County, City of Menominee, every little entry, no matter how brief, has a human story behind it.
All right. So our mission today, let's unpack the key insights from these daily summaries. We're looking at incidents from late July, early August. We want to uncover maybe some surprising details and connect it back to what it means for you, for the community, what jumps out as we dig in.
Okay, let's dive in. We're kicking things off with the Menominee County Sheriff's Office reports, starting in late July. First up, July 24th. And something we see a lot, warrants. On this day, a 23-year-old man from Stevenson, Michigan, he was arrested in the city of Menominee. 2 warrants, one for failing to appear on an improper gun possession charge and another for having no security on a vehicle.
Okay, so no security, that's no auto insurance. And it's not just a simple ticket, right? It's a big financial risk for everyone else on the road. What's kind of striking is how missing a court date, maybe for something seemingly small at first, can just snowball, especially when it's tied to something serious like improper gun possession. That's a really good point. Also on July 24th, this one's a bit more unusual, Lake Township. A 60-year-old Stevenson man arrested and cited for a dog at large. A deputy responded to a neighbor's complaint. A senior citizen, an arrest for a loose dog.
Yeah.
Makes you wonder,
Well, it does highlight how these local ordinances, even the ones that seem minor, can have real teeth.
Yeah.
Dog at large laws are there for public safety, preventing nuisances. This could mean maybe stricter enforcement in Lake Township, or perhaps there was a history there. Maybe warnings didn't work, leading to an arrest. It's a reminder, isn't it? Even small things can become formal charges.
Yeah, definitely makes you think. Still on July 24th, a deputy in the city of Menominee made a traffic stop. Equipment violation, failing to use a turn signal. The driver, a 48-year-old man from Menominee, Michigan, ended up arrested for having no operator's license. Cited for the turn signal, too. It's pretty common, isn't it? Routine stop reveals something bigger. And to wrap up the 24th, deputies also found a juvenile runaway in Menominee Township, took a short search. Just shows the sheer range of calls they handle every day. Traffic, welfare checks, everything. Okay, let's move to July 25th. Here, the blotter kind of shifts more towards personal incidents. A 31-year-old Daggett woman was arrested for domestic assault. This was on Anderson Road in Daggett Township.
Yeah, domestic assault calls, they're
Yeah.
incredibly sensitive and unfortunately quite frequent for law enforcement. These situations often need immediate intervention for safety. They're some of the most, challenging and emotionally charged calls officers have to respond to.
Absolutely. Okay, shifting back to traffic on July 25th. A 24-year-old Daggett man arrested on County Road 358 in Daggett Township. No operator's license, and again, no security on the vehicle, no insurance. And another one, a 43-year-old Menominee man arrested on US 41 in Stevenson. No operator's license, no vehicle insurance, and a probation violation.
So looking at these together, these traffic stops often peel back layers, don't they?
Right.
Starts with maybe a simple moving violation, maybe bad equipment, and boom, it leads to arrest for driving without a license, no insurance, or like that second case, finding an existing probation violation. It really underscores how interconnected these things are. One small thing can expose a whole pattern.
Precisely. Also on July 25th, we see a property crime. An investigation started into a breaking and entering. This was on County Park Road in Lake Township, a building broken into overnight. And on the road that day, Janet Royer, 59, from Rapid River. She had a one-vehicle crash on M35 in Cedarville Township. Minor damage, thankfully. Apparently, a tire blew out, caused her to lose control, ended up in a ditch.
That specific crash, yeah. It's a powerful reminder, isn't it, how unpredictable things can be on the road. Even experienced drivers can get caught out by mechanical stuff like a blowout. Really highlights, keeping up with vehicle maintenance. Small issues can have big, dangerous consequences.
Good point. Okay, July 27th. Brief entry, but serious. A 41-year-old Daggett man arrested for domestic assault and malicious destruction of personal property. This was on G18 in Nadeau Township. Malicious destruction, just to clarify, means intentionally damaging someone else's stuff. So another domestic incident making the blotter.
Seems to be a recurring theme.
It does. Now, July 28th, a traffic incident involving younger drivers, a 16-year-old from Powers, Michigan, cited for failure to stop in an assured clear distance. That means basically following too close. Rear-ended a vehicle driven by Gracie Grandin, 22, of Spalding. This happened on Balsam Lane in Spalding Township. Both cars had minor damage and, crucially, no injuries reported.
Thankfully.
July 29th brings a close call with wildlife. Grace Murray, 71, from Niagara. Her vehicle got disabling damage after she swerved to miss a deer in Faithorn Township. She ended up going into a ditch, hit a tree. No injuries reported, but the car had to be towed. A really stark reminder about driving in rural areas around here.
Oh, yeah. Deer accidents are incredibly common, especially certain times of the year. And it's always that dilemma, isn't it? Swerving seems like the natural thing to do, but often it leads to worse outcomes hitting a tree, another car, sometimes worse than hitting the deer itself. Makes you think about driver awareness, defensive driving, especially where there's lots of wildlife.
That's a critical point for safety. Also on July 29th, now this one really stands out, a 33-year-old Marinette woman arrested for possession of cocaine, methamphetamines, and a firearm. This followed a traffic stop just for speed on US 41 in Menominee Township.
Wow. That's rough. Well, a key takeaway there is how often something minor, like speeding, is the initial trigger. It lets law enforcement uncover much more serious criminal activity. It speaks to thorough police work, but it also raises questions, doesn't it, about how prevalent these issues are on our main roads here in the county. How often do routine stops turn up more than just a speeding ticket?
What a discovery indeed. Okay, let's wrap up the sheriff's reports. On July 30th, deputies went to a threats complaint in Daggett Township. A work crew member was threatened. Sounds like they reached an agreement to discuss easement issues before more work was done.
De-escalation, then.
Right. And also on the 30th, a domestic dispute on River Drive in Menominee Township. Investigated, found to be just a verbal argument, incident closed. Not every call ends in cuffs. Sometimes it's just sorting things out.
True. Resolution without arrest.
Okay, let's shift gears now. Let's cross over, so to speak, and see what the Menominee Police Department was handling in early August, starting with August 8th. And right off the bat, a bit of a head-scratcher. A 20-year-old man arrested for misusing 911. Not once, not twice, but 3 counts. This was at the intersection of 26th Avenue and 15th Street. 3 counts of 911 misuse.
Yeah, misusing 911.
Yeah.
It's not just annoying, it has a real impact. Every bogus call ties up dispatchers, ties up officers, resources that are needed for actual emergencies. It can delay help for someone who really needs it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's treated seriously because it puts other people at risk.
Makes sense. August 9th, much more straightforward. A 37-year-old man got a ticket for speeding. Intersection of 10th Street and 48th Avenue. Simple as that sometimes.
Yeah.
August 10th, though, quite a flurry of activity for Menominee PD. Officers arrested a 26-year-old man for OWI operating while intoxicated, plus having open alcoholic containers and possessing a firearm while under the influence. This was all at North Shore Drive and 48th Avenue.
Wow. That is a really severe combination of charges. OWI is bad enough. Add open containers, add a firearm while impaired. That signals just a complete disregard for public safety, for the law. A really alarming risk on our roads.
It really does. Also on August 10th, another arrest for no operator's license. This time, a 34-year-old woman in the 2200 block of 10th Avenue. And something a bit different. Officers found a tan and white dog, took it to the Menominee County Animal Shelter. This was from the 800 block of 5th Street. Nice to see those calls, too.
Yeah, community welfare.
Still on August 10th, a multi-layered arrest. A 43-year-old man arrested for trespassing, retail theft, and a parole violation in the 1400 block of 8th Avenue.
And that parole violation piece is crucial. People on parole have specific rules. Any new arrest, even for trespassing or shoplifting, that often automatically triggers the violation, leads to much tougher consequences. Shows how past issues really complicate new ones.
Right, it just stacks up. Another intense one from August 10th. A 45-year-old woman arrested for resisting and obstructing police officers, drunkenness, and assault. This was on the Interstate Bridge and 10th Avenue. Sounds like a really challenging situation for the officers involved.
Definitely. Resisting arrest often makes things escalate quickly.
And finally, for the 10th, officers looked into a dog bite report. A dog apparently bit a 41-year-old woman in the 1400 block of 10th Street. Okay, moving to August 11th. Pretty common call. Officers investigated a 2-vehicle accident, 9th Street and 10th Avenue. Minor damage, no injuries. Also on the 11th, an assault case. Officers investigated an assault between a 39-year-old man and a 45-year-old woman. This was in the 700 block of 10th Avenue. And, little positive note. Someone found a wallet and turned it into the police. 1200 block of 10th Avenue. Nice to see that honesty.
Yeah, restores a bit of faith.
But then also on August 11th, here's one that's particularly concerning. A 34-year-old man arrested for OWI, operating while intoxicated, for the third time. And not just that, also charged with having no vehicle insurance, unlawful use of a license plate, and driving with a revoked license, intersection of 10th Street and 29th Avenue.
A third OWI. Well, it really prompts you to think about the challenges with repeat offenders. Third OWI, no insurance, bad plate, revoked license. I mean, this is someone who is not only a huge danger on the road, but is actively trying to get around the whole system. It really highlights the severity, the danger these drivers pose, makes you wonder about how effective deterrents really are for some individuals.
It certainly does. On to August 13th. Officers arrested a 64-year-old woman for assault. This was in the 1200 block of 9th Avenue. And another third-time OWI arrest, a 67-year-old man. Arrested for OWI third offense and also having open intoxicants in the vehicle. Intersection of 25th Street and 15th Avenue.
Two third offense OWIs in just a couple of days in these reports.
Yeah. It really seems like these repeat OWI offenders are a persistent and, frankly, worrying challenge for local law enforcement.
Absolutely.
And finally, our last report in this deep dive from August 14th. A 22-year-old man arrested for resisting and obstructing police officers and for a parole violation. This was in the 6600 block of 30th Avenue. Another case where that parole violation just adds another serious layer to the situation.
Compounding the issue.
So, wow, we've really taken quite a journey through these police reports. Menominee County Sheriff, Menominee Police, late July, early August. We've seen, well, pretty much everything. Minor traffic stuff, accidents, right up to serious arrests for domestic assault, drugs, firearms. And yeah, those concerning repeat OWI cases. It really does illustrate the diverse, often unpredictable stuff our local law enforcement handles every single day right here in the Peshtigo area.
And when you step back, connect it to the bigger picture. These daily summaries, they might seem kind of mundane, item by item. But together, they paint this vivid, very human picture of a community. Its struggles, its little kindnesses, and just the constant, tireless work involved in maintaining order, keeping people safe. They really are a tangible reflection of all the human stories playing out around us every day.
Well said. And that brings us to our final thought for you, our listener. As you hear about these incidents, what patterns do you notice? What stands out to you about the everyday work of keeping our towns safe, seen through this lens, through the blotter? Are there underlying trends these incidents might hint at in our community? Something to think about. Keep observing, keep learning, keep asking questions. Thanks for joining us for this Behind the Blotter segment of the Deep Dive. We'll be back soon with another Deep Dive.